Hello everyone, my name is NecroVMX. Welcome to my channel. You're listening to Potato Cast. I can't catch a fucking break, can I, guys? So it's Friday the 22nd, and I'm gonna give you guys updates on everything. For what's happened in the past. I guess it's been a week, right? When did I put up that last update? I put that up on the 15th, so it's been a week. I'm going to update. I'm going to read your questions and comments. I'm going to try to make this one a little shorter. I said that last time, and it still wound up going over an hour. But anyway, I'm going to read your questions and comments. I'm going to give you updates, and then I'm going to get the fuck out of here. But yeah, we're going to talk about what's happened in the past 7 days, and we're going to talk about the future, because that's in flux, as always, of course. And you plan things out, and then shit fucks up, and then not so much. So, all right. So let me first read your questions and comments. It looks like there's a good amount here. Okay, so I'm going to start with Heisensall. He says #potato. Necro, I'm really sure. Let's try that again. I'm really sorry for not commenting on the Wits End video because I couldn't find the words to respond properly. Well, let me just stop you there and say, you don't have to apologize for not leaving a comment, because you don't have to leave a comment. That's up to you. I like comments. I like reading them. But, I've been there. Look, I got a message from someone, and I'm not sure if they would want me to share it on Potato Cast, but I got this really insanely long message from somebody through Facebook, and I read it. First they said, hey, I'm going to send you this message. It's going to be kind of long. And I said, yeah, well, I'm about to head to bed, but I'll read it in the morning. And they said, well, get ready to read something long in the morning. And I did, and it was the best message I've ever gotten. Like, I've shown it to a few people. Well, just really Andrew and Tanya, and they agree. It's like it's the nicest and best message ever. And I was at a loss for words of what to say back. And I said, look, I don't know what to say other than it was the best message I've ever gotten. I don't know how to reply to it. Sometimes you don't have the words. You certainly don't have to apologize for not leaving me a comment. But let me read what you said here. My father is having health problems of his own at the moment. He was diagnosed with congestive heart failure earlier this year. That is rough. And had a quadruple bypass back in May of 2017, so I know how you're feeling on that. It's never easy when your parents have health problems. I wish your father the best, and I hope he beats cancer. Christmas is 10 days away. Well, now it's 3 days away. What was your favorite present you have got as a kid? Mine was probably my SNES I got in 1995. And I can't believe I just said SNES. Julie's got me doing that now. Necro, I wish you the best, and come back when you feel you're ready to. We'll be here waiting for you, man. Well, thanks so much. Best gift. See, now it's a little confusing because my birthday is in December. It was the 7th. So sometimes when thinking back to childhood gifts, I have to say, well, wait a minute. Was that a Christmas thing or a birthday thing? Because they're so close together. Like, I remember getting the NES, and that was a huge thing. But I'm pretty sure that was a birthday gift. I remember getting my Game Boy. That was also a birthday gift. Best Christmas gift? Oh, that is rough. I don't know. Probably it was a game at some point or another, but I don't know. I really can't think of it, actually. There was the Christmas that I got my Nintendo 64, but I didn't get it as a gift. I asked everybody to give me money, and then I bought it myself, and I think I've told that story on Potato Cast. But I think like everything that I can think of, I think, oh, but that was a birthday present. But I definitely remember the Super NES. That was just, that was like the bit. Actually, now that I think of it, the Super NES might have been a Christmas present. I actually don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was a Christmas present. Because that year, I remember playing it with family members that would have been around for Christmas, but not necessarily for my birthday. So I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. But I think I would say the Super NES. Nick Jackson says, I've got a few movie questions for you, so please forgive the rapid-fire action. All right, well, I'll give you rapid-fire answers. Are you a Godzilla fan? Yes. How many movies do you own? I have no idea. What is your favorite zombie movie? Well, that's a tough one. I want to say Night of the Living Dead, but I also have a strong, strong fondness for 28 Days Later. But then again, that's not... They're not really zombies in the movie, but it's still like in the same genre as a zombie movie. It's just they're not technically zombies, but it's still a zombie movie. So I guess one of those two. And what movie has scared you the most in your life thus far? Never been scared by a movie. Ever. I've been scared by books. I've been scared by real life. I've never been scared by a movie or a video game. I do really like scary movies, but they don't actually freak me out. I mean, sometimes you get that jump scare, and you're just kind of like, you're just like, oh, and then it's over with, and you kind of like, to me, whenever I get a jump scare and it actually works on me, I'm like, I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. The very end of Carrie, when her hand comes up out of the dirt, got me the first time I saw that. But it was just like for a moment, you know. Stormcrow95 says, hashtag potato, glad to see you aren't as much of a... God, you have no idea. Glad to see you aren't as much of a mess as last time and able to update. Take all the time you need as suggested before. That said, favorite sword, spear, armor, and axe designs from any point in history? That's not something I've ever given thought, man. I'm sorry. I did a report on all that kind of crap in, I want to say the 6th grade, and I didn't get a very good grade on it, I remember, which was just the teacher was a bitch, so, you know. Lugnal says, Sloan Kettering treated my mother stage 3 lung cancer, so yeah, they're pretty good. Hope he pulls through, man. Definitely going to give you guys an update on that. Sloan Kettering, my dad's cancer, and all that. I will talk about that in a little bit. Eric7100 says, I'm not going to lie, I really only followed you regularly when you did request videos. Those things made me laugh like hell. I miss them. I still watch marathons of them when I'm in a bad mood. Glad to see that you're still on YouTube. Well, glad to see that you're still coming along every once in a while, but I gotta tell you, man, there's not that really any difference between the Let's Plays and the request videos, other than the fact that I'm playing the whole game rather than part of it. I really suggest you give it a chance because I think they're just as funny. And as someone else, actually a few people have pointed out, the request videos got stale after a while. I definitely felt so. And I was very glad to get comments of that sort recently when I talked about why I made the change and how glad I am I made the change. And, you know, at least 2 people said that they thought it was running out of steam. So I couldn't do that forever, and I didn't want to. The Anime Fan says, besides asking you your opinion on all Fox Marvel properties coming home to Marvel and their movie division, I didn't comment on your previous Potato Cast because I was waiting for this or any update. I didn't want to watch it because the title sounded like 6 others I've gotten throughout my time on YouTube, aka dealing with problems, see you when it gets better, and yet you're the only to return. Dude, you gotta slow down. I know, like, what you're talking about. Thanks for not turning like the other 6, like I considered friends that never returned because... Alright. I think what he's saying is that he knew other people on YouTube that would say, hey, I got some problems, I'm going to take a break, and then they never came back. And you know what? To be honest, man, you can't really blame them for that. I keep coming back because I want to, but if I ever came to a point where I was like, I really don't want to do YouTube anymore, I would just not do it anymore. I only do YouTube because it's fun for me. That is literally the only reason. There's certainly no monetary reason to do it. I make like nothing on YouTube. I get like a check for $100 like twice a year. Who cares? You know, that's like so stupid. I talked about how I felt about monetization. I do it because I like it. And I don't think you should blame those other people for quitting because, you know, maybe they moved on to something else, you know. John McKinney, I don't understand your comment. It's just a timestamp. I went to that timestamp in the video. There's nothing strange there. So, Dragonheart64 says, hashtag potato. The last Potato Cast, I'm at my wit's end. I was just completely speechless and couldn't find the words to say anything. My father has been going to the doctors recently again because he was told back in July that if he didn't stop drinking and eating poorly that he will not be well. He hasn't gone back because he doesn't really care about it that much. Him and I haven't had that too good of a relationship either, but he has told me that he doesn't want to make it better. And I have no idea what I'm going to do about that, plus work and other personal shit has been going crappy for me recently as well. Sounds like we're in the same boat, man. You can't make it better. I mean, that's up to him. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that you can do, and this is a suggestion, you don't have to take it, but maybe make him understand, you know, how much he's he's needed and wanted to be around, because you know, if he died, that would be devastating to everybody else. And I mean, it just sounds like he's thinking in the short term and just thinking, but I like drinking, I like eating crap. And I understand that completely, but eventually you have to say that you realize that you're not going to be around much longer because of it. I don't know if you can get through to him. I hope you can. Let me read your second paragraph. So I feel your pain about being just so fucking pissed off at everything, but I always go to your videos to cheer myself up, at least in some way, as I just can't help but laugh at some of the great LPs you've done in the past. Well, thank you. As someone who has been a supporter of yours for years now, I've enjoyed every minute of it. I always liked your style of videos and your hilarious personality. Take your time to recover, man. We all love you. We want you to be all right, and I wish you the same to you as your father and Hitomi, and you'll get an update on her, of course. Please stay strong, Necro. Bye for now. Thank you. And finally, Captain N said, I hope everything gets better for you. It hasn't. I know this year seems like it's been stressful for you. You have no idea, man. I just hope next year will be better for you. I certainly, as fucking shit, hope so, because I thought 2015 sucked, and then 2016 was like, hold my beer. And I thought, well, that's the worst year ever. And then 2017 is just worse. Shit just keeps getting worse. Somebody told me recently, life doesn't get better, it only gets worse. And I can't think of what kind of... First of all, I'm not going to say much, but I think that person's fucking insane for other reasons. But I just, like, I can't imagine being in a place where you've lost all your optimism. I'm not saying that I'm 100% an optimist all the time, but if you just think that life is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and that it never gets better, and that, what's the point of it then? What's the point of it if you can't find happiness, and you can't improve yourself and improve your relations with others and make things better for yourself and make things better for those that you care about? That all means a lot to me. And yeah, it's been a rough couple of years, especially this year, and especially these last few months have been just terrible for me. But listen to me, I'm not... 2 potato casts ago, I was a fucking mess about it, and that's because I did it, like raw, live, and unscripted. I just decided to sit down and let it all out right then, instead of doing what I normally do, letting myself calm down, collecting my thoughts, and doing it in some sort of organized fashion, not scripted, but just coming at it, from a calm perspective, like I am right now. But I don't know, man. I think that, like, that particular time, it just came off as raw because that's how I was feeling in the moment, and I just started recording. And I know it affected a lot of people, and it certainly affected me. I can't even listen to that potato cast without getting upset. So, shit hasn't gotten better. Shit has gotten worse for me. So... and I'm going to tell you guys something in a little bit. You're just going to be like, oh, come on. Why can't he catch a break? And that's why I'm making the title of this, I Can't Catch a Break. Heater finally turned off. So let me tell you guys something. I just feel like there's no point to life if you're not trying to improve it. Everything, if it's just clawing for survival, then you're just an animal. If that's all you're trying to do is just survive and get to the next day, and not try to make the next day a little better, or at least make it better for someone, then you're no better than just like a raccoon or a snail. You're running on instinct. You're just running on self-preservation. You don't care about shit. Nothing's going to get better for you. And you're just trying to exist. And I think that there's more to life than just continual existence. Because otherwise, why continue to exist if you're not going to enjoy it? You know what I mean? So, as depressed as I get, and as crazy as I may seem sometimes, I've never been suicidal. I've fallen into despair, but I've always managed to bring myself out of it, or other people have brought me out of it. And I've never been in a situation where I just wanted to just stop everything and just do nothing and just exist. I mean, there are times where you just want a little peace. That's true. But I really think, like, this person that told me this, that life doesn't get better, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like, first of all, what kind of fucking thing is that to say, or to someone else, much less something to believe in for yourself? You know, if somebody's life, if this person's life had gotten worse and worse and worse and worse, that's unfortunate. You know, and maybe my life has gotten worse recently, but if you don't hold out some kind of hope that it's going to get better, then what are you even doing? Like I said, at that point, you're like a barnacle at that point. You just suck. You know, you just latch onto something and just go along for the ride and suck. And you don't care about anything because you only exist to sustain your own existence, which is miserable. So, I'm probably rambling at this point. I don't even know if I'm making sense. What I'm just trying to say is that if you think life can't get better, or that it shouldn't get better, or that it's the natural order of things, that everything just sucks more and more as time goes on, you know, and I'm not talking about like on the metaphysical level, like entropy or whatever. I'm talking about just the experience of it. Then maybe rethink that, because it's unfortunate and sad, and you're not doing anybody any favors, including yourself at that point. So what do I want? Okay, so I kind of got 3 updates to give. Hitomi, my father, and myself. Let me get my father out of the way, because it's sort of good news, bad news situation. And I actually forgot what I said last week, but I'm just going to kind of bring you up to date. So he was diagnosed with liver cancer. I don't know what stage it's in or anything like that. I just know it was liver cancer, which came as some surprise, but not a total surprise due to his history of liver disease. You know, he had hepatitis. I think I definitely talked about that. But anyway, you know, I saw him today, hung out there for a while, and he was definitely tired and not feeling the greatest. But it was because he was running around and going to all these doctors and stuff and doing stuff around the house and pushing himself too far. So it was like a normal tired. He didn't seem sick. He seemed to be doing all right. I asked him, "How are you doing?" And he said he's doing okay. He's taking it one day at a time. And I said, that's the only way you can do anything, is one day at a time. So he doesn't seem to be worried. My mother was very worried. Now I think she's getting a little bit more positivity. So anyway, originally, I met with a doctor at the VA medical center, and they didn't like the doctor. They thought he was an asshole. He went about everything the wrong way. He didn't offer the right treatment options. He didn't answer questions properly. And my mother just decided they weren't going to see this doctor anymore, and he was a dick. And they were going to go to Sloan Kettering. And I think that's where I left off. So they went to Sloan Kettering. They met with an oncologist there who is supposedly like one of the top guys there is, and that the only complaints they could find about him is that sometimes the wait is long to see the guy. But they saw this guy, and he told them that the other doctor's an idiot, which is what they thought already, and that everything that they were talking about there was like 4 years behind, and that the march of treating cancer just moves onwards, and it seems the VA Medical Center is a little behind, and the irony of it was that as they're talking to this guy and getting a little bit of positivity, because he's talking about all kinds of options. He's talking about surgery, which I didn't think was possible considering the size and the mass. He's talking about other options. He's talking in a very positive way. And my mother gets a call from the VA Medical Center as they're there, that wanting to put my father in hospice care for palliative care, for end of life care. And it's like, wow, they just looked at him and basically said, yeah, there's nothing we can do. Meanwhile, this doctor is saying, yeah, there's a lot we can do. There's a lot we can do. So that's sort of the positive end of it. The negative end of it is that it is pretty serious. His liver's 20 centimeters long. The mass is 15 centimeters long. That's most of his liver. So I don't know how they're going to approach this, because I'm not an oncologist. But they're, apparently Sloan Kettering is like pretty fucking tops, and yeah. So that's the update on my dad. I did see him today. I was over there today, and he seems to be in pretty good spirits and whatnot. So that's a thing. Hitomi, last I talked, I believe we were trying to get her to get out of Japan for a little while. she's in California now. We did get the money. It was crazy. I was up until like 3 a.m. one night with her brother on Facebook talking back and forth, where we just needed like the last like $75 because we had the money. There were some very generous people who donated, and we got, and then he went to buy the ticket, and it was like the price had just skyrocketed up another $75. I covered that, and then my friend Andrew offered. He's like, I'll send you the money. So that was taken care of. Got her on the plane. Of course, she got stuck in Canada for a while because her connecting flight was delayed, but she did get to California. She's still like broke and has no money, and her and her brother are like broke. They have no like money or food or anything. So like I'm working on trying to, get them a little something to survive. And she's of course has to still wait, on some more money to get the rest of her bills taken care of because her rent went up. But because all these repairs and whatnot. But she's there for a little while, and then she'll fly back, and hopefully this is all working out. It was like a fucking Christmas miracle to get her on that plane, and I never stay up that late. I'm in bed at like 10:30, but her brother started talking to me, and it was like I said, I was up till 3 a.m. It really sucked, but we got it done, and so she always seems to be on the verge, but we always manage to make something happen, and I've been trying to lift her spirits and help her feel a little better, because it's been forever with this. It just goes on, and shit just gets worse, and I'm trying to make her see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so that's the Tell Me update. Now me. So yeah, I don't even know how to approach saying this, because this is just like fucking ridiculous. Sorry, I was just taking a drink of water there. I lost my job again. I'm no longer employed. As you guys know, I had been working for the longest time at a healthcare place called Progressive Health, and lost the job there, where they basically just fired me and told me, we're not telling you why, and we went through all that, and I was out of work for a couple of months, and I managed to get a new job. And it was a little bit of help from my friend a lot of help from my friend Brandon, who I'd known for a long time as well, who put in a good word for me there. Started working there. I don't want to give like too many details, because I don't really want anybody to know what this place is, or or where it is or whatnot. But it was it was out of state, which is like, it sounds bad, but it's not, because I'm right near the border of two other states. It's out of state, and it was a doctor's office. And they hired me to do medical billing and coding and stuff like that, and also to follow up and call insurance companies and whatnot. And I had talked about the money aspect of it previously, that I was making a lot less money. I was making less money there. That is that's what sucked. The only positive spin on the fact that I was making so little was that I was actually working off the books, which sucks, and it's not something you want to do for too long. But there was always this promise of, if things continue to improve and we get money flowing in and this and that, then everybody can get raises, and we can, maybe improve. There's no benefits. I haven't had health insurance. It was just, but it was something to do. It kept me busy, and I liked it. And I think I talked about that I was enjoying my job, and just I liked going there and being busy and doing something. And they, and one thing that they were big on was autonomy. They gave me a lot of autonomy. Had my own area, and my own office area, and I was able to just do what I needed to do, and I basically set my own schedule, and it was working, really, really well, and I was bringing money in, and then things started to go a little weird, and I when I talked about it on two potato casts ago, I told you that I didn't want to give details then, because I don't know who fucking listens to what, but they had done something that really, really pissed me off then, and that's like, the reason that I was at my wit's end. Yeah, everything else was bearing down on me. I'd found out that my dad had cancer. I'd been dealing with, people had told me fucked up messages, and, everything was kind of coming down on me and whatnot. But, this place, I just, I guess, hindsight is 2020, because there was this sharp and rapid decline. Everything seemed to be getting better. They had like no money. They were on the verge of closing when I was first hired there, and hiring me was sort of a last ditch effort, I guess, to try and improve things, because they thought, hey, we have all this money that we're billing insurance companies and we're not getting it. So we need somebody who's able to call them and knows how to submit things in the proper way. And it was funny, because they thought that I would have to learn all this stuff, and a lot of it I did have to learn, but I actually knew a lot of it already, because there was a point in time where I actually took I just dropped my knife. I took a class for billing and coding, so I actually, I forgot some of it because it was so long ago, but I took a class on medical billing and coding and submitting and whatnot, and, it's sort of like, when you forget something because you don't use it, you don't use a skill, and then you forget about it, and then you start to use it again, and it kind of comes back to you. Maybe playing an old game that you played in your childhood. At first you're like, how the hell do I do this? And then you start to remember. But anyway, money's coming in, things are actually getting paid, everybody's in a better mood, things are improving. And then shit started to just go south. And, it's nothing to do with me, really, to be honest with you guys, or anybody else that really worked there. Well, maybe it was, I don't know, but the thing that really bugged me last time when I talked about the job was that there is one guy that worked there that had been there forever, and then he quit. He got a better job, which, good for him. And it's not like he just walked in one day and was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, I'm out. Didn't do that. We knew when his last day was going to be. We even had a little going away party for him, which kind of doubled as a birthday party for me, because his last day happened to be on my birthday, so they just kind of doubled up on things. It was nice. The kid left. They didn't replace him. And I had seen some other things, like I remember reading this article a long time ago, like how you can tell when the place you're working for is about to go tits up. And one of the biggest red flags is if they start losing people and not replacing them, and they just put the burden on everybody else. And they were planning on hiring somebody else. Well, first of all, they had this one kid who was working there part-time. He was working like, 12, 15 hours a week. And they were going to up him to like 25 and then hire somebody else who would work another 25. And then, between the two of them, they were basically covering what this other guy did. Now, to me, 25 plus 25 is 50. I don't know if you guys are with me on this. I think you are. And 50 is less than 40, so you think, well, I'll get to that in a second. Well, anyway, they didn't hire the guy because he wanted a full work week. He wanted 40 hours of work. And they said they can't afford it. And I'm thinking, well, you were paying somebody. The guy that quit, you were paying him for 40 hours. So he leaves, and all of a sudden you can't afford to pay somebody else the same rate? That's, that to me is like a fucking bed of red flags. And I knew it was coming. I knew I wasn't going to be there very long. I'd actually been actively looking for another job for a couple of weeks now, you guys. So, I'm not in the worst position ever here, but it sucks. So to tell you guys, what happens next is they decide that I'm going to do the job of the guy who left. And that was why I was so angry. Because I had, like I said, they gave me all this, and they took me out of my area, and they put me in another place, and I'm stressed out. I just got bad news about my dad. I'm in the worst mood that you can imagine. I'm not even doing YouTube stuff at this point because I'm on break. I'm a mess. You guys heard what it was like that day, and it got to the point where I was almost like having panic attacks. I took one day off because I wasn't feeling well, and that was the day that my battery in my car died, and I had to replace that. So that was what was supposed to be a day to rest and relax and recuperate a little bit because I was feeling like shit, and I hadn't slept, and had this like weird throat thing going on. I'm feeling better, by the way, and then I wound up having to go to the mechanic, and it was a whole thing. So this is just the stressful, and I'm thinking like I don't understand it. Like, so they want me to do it all instead of just so they're not going to hire this guy because he wants 40 hours. They're not going to up the kid that's working 12, and they upped him to 25, but they wouldn't up him to 40. And I'm thinking, before you were paying one guy for 40, you were paying me for 40, and then you had the kid who was working like 12. So that's 92 right there. 92 hours you're paying for. Now, you want to just pay me for 40 and this kid for 25. And which... that's 65. Now, 65 is significantly less than 92. And then they come and they tell me that I have to do everything, and then like a week and a half later it becomes well, they told me a lot of shit, okay? But what it came down to was they felt that I wasn't needed anymore, which is hilarious because they wanted to put everything on me. They felt that, they were going to do everything that I do and what that other guy did, and they weren't going to, they were not going to hire anybody else, and this is, that's the, that was, the only thing that they said that approached any kind of actual reasoning is they can't afford to have me here. So, and there's other things going on that I actually can't talk about because of the HIPAA laws. But I will say, how do I say this without saying anything illegal? Because they had they kept talking about, like, we don't have any money, and they're like, telling me what I'm doing is not bringing in any extra money, and I'm thinking, what do you mean extra money? We're getting paid on like every claim, and then the ones we don't, I fix whatever issue it is because I'm actually following up on claims, something they never did before, and I'm actually making sure that everything's paid. So if everything's being paid, and I'm all up in their financials because I'm looking at it all day, every day. I know what money is coming in. But, I happen to know some other things that were affecting it that had nothing to do with me. The only thing I can say was that there were lawsuits involved. There were not one, not two, but 3 lawsuits going on. I can't really say much about that, but I can say that even if you are going to win a lawsuit, like if somebody's suing you, it's not a great thing, it sucks, because even if you're right and you didn't do anything wrong, like they're accusing you of doing something wrong, so they're suing you, and you didn't do anything wrong, you still got to hire lawyers, there's court fees, there's lawyers, there's all kinds of costs involved in it. And then, these 3 lawsuits, which I do not know the validity of them. I'm not saying that these lawsuits are valid, and I'm not saying they're invalid, because I actually don't know much about them, because, they wouldn't tell me shit. So, I don't know how much longer this place is going to go on like this, because now you have, like, nobody there. And what's funny is now the kid that was working 25 hours, they upped him to 40, because now he has to do his job, my job, and the job of the guy that, that had left. And he's not happy about it. He's the kind of guy that he can be really unhappy about it and not and not show. He seems happy, but he's not. But I talked to him, and he's just, because they told me it was going to be my last day, and I told him, because I knew it was going to fall all on him, and I told him, and he's just like, he said, "That's fucked up," and unfortunately he didn't know really how to do what I do. I tried to show him, what little I could in the remaining hours that I was there. So I'm out of work again, and that sucks. And I had already been looking for a new job because I'd been unhappy there for quite some time. They treated me wonderfully at first. I talked about how on Potato Cast, I talked about how wonderful it was to go to a place where I'm treated like a human being, not treated like a god or anything like that, but just treated like a person. Because you go back to Progressive Health, I was a slave, I was a jerk. Here, I was treated like a person. Never really felt like they completely welcomed me there, but I don't know. Maybe it was always going to be temporary. I don't know. I really don't know what's true and what's not, because the person that runs the place is a little crazy. And I've come to that conclusion a long time ago, actually, because she would make these weird declarations about, just anything, really, and none of it made any sense. Like, there was one time I got an email from her, like, so part of what I did was mailing out claims, and a lot of it's done electronically, but some companies prefer that they don't accept electronic claims, or they just prefer it. And I would, print out process the claims, print them out on the special paper, put it in an envelope, and then I would go to where I was told to go to mail it. Not to like post office, but to go, like, okay, I was told this is where the postal machine is, this is what you use to stamp it, and then this is where you put for outgoing mail. So every morning I would bring all the stuff up, and I would put it through the postal machine and put it in that basket. It took like a minute, and that was what I did. I would just kind of just go in there and do it. And then one day I get this fucking strange email saying, "I don't understand why you're doing this. You're going upstairs and you're using that postal meter, and you're putting it in the outgoing mail, and we've talked about this before, and I've told you to use the one downstairs, and I fail to understand why you're continuing to use the one upstairs." And I read this email, and I remember thinking, like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, first off, we've never had a discussion about it. Secondly, the only reason I'm going all out of my way to go up a whole fucking floor instead of just into the next room is because that's what I was told to do. I was told this is where the postal meter is. This is where outgoing mail is. So, now you're saying, like you're having these phantom conversations with me that never existed, where you tell me I want you to use the one downstairs, and I'm just like, I didn't even know there was one downstairs. And then I remember asking, like, do we have a postal meter down here? And they're like, yeah, we have one over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, they want me to use that one. I said, where's outgoing mail? Well, we don't have an outgoing mail thing. Well, what do you mean? They told me to use the outgoing mail from downstairs. Like, no, we just don't have that. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to. We're going to have somebody take mail to the post office, because apparently the people who run this place, think otherwise. And I was just kind of rolled with it. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I have a job that I don't hate, that I enjoy going to, I look forward to going to. But little things like that just started happening, and like, there was one time where I'm sitting there and I was talking to somebody. We were having lunch, and I was eating. Let me wait to tell you that one. I'll tell you that one first. There's one time where the person who runs this place comes into my office and immediately asks me if I'm in pain. Now, that's none of her business, and it was a weird fucking question. And as you guys know, I'm always kind of in pain, because of my back problems, because of arthritis and whatnot. But I was just like, I just looked at her like, what? And I said, like, what do you mean? I said, you have this look on your face like you're hurting. Like, and I said, I'm concentrating, because she just kind of came in and I was looking at something and I was reading something and I was concentrating. I said, I'm concentrating. And I'm just like, and it was just weird, and so then there was this other part where I'm eating. This is recently. And she just comes in and she's like, why are you giving me that face? And I'm like, what face? And she's like, you're giving me that face. I told you to never give me that look. And I'm like, okay, first off, we've never had a discussion about that. Secondly, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she's like, well, you didn't say hello to me when I walked in. And I was like, well, I had my mouth full. I'm eating a sandwich. Like, you literally see me holding a meatball sub and taking bites out of it. And I don't know. I don't like to talk with my mouth full of food, because when other people do that, it kind of aggravates me. I think it's rude. I think it's nasty. So just these little things. And then the way she said, like, I've told you about giving me that look. And I'm like, you've never told me anything about any kind of look, and we almost never see each other. So, you know, like, I don't know what you're talking about. So this is just this weirdness going on. So, yeah, I'm out of work. I'm not upset about it in the sense that I think it would have happened eventually anyway, just due to the way this place is being run, due to the way that they're the lawsuits that are going on, and the expenses and everything. And I don't see how, and just the fact that this time of year for this particular type of doctor's office is just, you know, there's less patients. So, you know, here's the thing. So let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what's going to happen, because, you know, I've been looking for work, obviously, and I'm going to continue to do so. So I had a conversation with my mother on the phone, and then she called me back a little while later, and my mother, and this is something that I just never expected to hear from her, she asked me to move back home with them. She asked me to move back in with my parents, which is like, my immediate reaction to that, I didn't say it, but in my head, my immediate reaction to that is, oh, God, no. You know, no. I'm like, I'll find another job. I'll be able to pay rent. I'll figure something out, you know. I'm not a charity case. I don't need to run back to I'm 37 years old here, you know. And then we got to talking about it. And it's not about that. It's partly about that, but it's more about my dad. And she started telling me that, like, she could really use my help, and you know, having me around. And I was thinking about it. I told her, I said, you know, you got to let me think about this. You got to give me some time to. And then, of course, my mother calls me, like, it was late at night, and then she calls me, like, the next morning. She's like, have you thought about it? I was like, no, Ma, I went to bed, and then I just woke up. You know, I haven't had time to think about it. You got to give me some time to think about it. But I have had, now, you know, that was on Wednesday, and now it's Friday, and I've had time to think about it, and I talked to her today about it. And I think I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. And I thought about it because my dad has cancer. And, you know, they have 2 puppies they got to take care of. My sister has 2 kids that, you know, sometimes they're coming off from school, and then, you know, my sister's not home because she's at work. And then they have to go to, you know, grandma's house. That's, you know, that would be my mom, and stay there. And, you know, or my grandmother has to deal with it, and she's getting old. You know, she can't be doing, you know, watching the kids all the time, watching the dogs all the time, especially 2 pit bull puppies that are getting really big and kind of energetic, and they always want your attention. So I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't, you know, like, you know, moving, you know, like, back home like that's just like something that I don't want to do. I've been on my own for quite a while now. I like it. You know, I'm used to doing things a certain way. I'm used to, you know, having that autonomy. But then I thought, you know, and what it basically comes down to is my family needs me right now. And, yeah. You know, my mom and my dad, they need me. My dad has cancer. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm going to keep you guys updated. You guys are going to be... you guys are going to know as much as I do about this, and I think that that's what's going to happen. But, you know, and then there was the whole point that I brought up, you know, when I'm at my wit's end potato cast, about the way that this place that I'm in was falling into disrepair, and that my landlord was not wanting to fix it. Now, he since has fixed those issues, but just the fact that he went through this weird phase where he just didn't want to fix anything and didn't want to spend money on anything What if that happens again? What if something else goes wrong and becomes a hazard and he doesn't want to fix it? So, obviously a temporary solution, but I'm going to start the process of moving back there. And I'm not going to enjoy that, obviously. But they really want me to be there, and that's something that I didn't expect. Because they could use the help, obviously. My parents are aging, too, and that's a whole other thing. You know, my dad's 69. My dad's 69. My mom's 58. You know, they're not young. You know, and they have health problems. They both do. You know, and it's just, I don't know. They talked me into it. So, yeah. Now, the only thing that I got to figure out is paying January's rent and the few bills that I have. Now, most of my bills are tied up in the rent, but I got to figure out how to pay. Well, because the other bills aren't going away. The rent will go away after January. January is going to be my last month here, and you know, and it's mostly going to be the process of moving everything back. It just sucks. It sucks, but like it's something that I feel I need to do because even if I get another job, like I said, my mom and dad, they're running all over the place. They're going to Sloan Kettering, they're going to this doctor, they're going to that doctor. They got the dogs to take care of, and I just think that it's probably going to be for the best for me to be there and to help them. I don't know how long that will be. Hopefully not very long. Hopefully my dad makes a recovery and gets better, and then I can find a good job and find another place. I want to come back here. Even though I like it here, it's just probably not going to be an option because of the issues that I've had previously with trying to get things repaired and whatnot. There's a lot of shit that I've kind of let go. There's a lot of shit that, you know, I mentioned the fire, the smoke alarm thing, but there was other shit that, you know, that should have been addressed and wasn't, and I just kind of was like, okay, whatever. And I guess I can't be like, okay, whatever. I gotta say, like, hey, I'm paying money and things not getting done, you know? And I don't know what's going to happen exactly beyond that. But I do know that I'm just going to move in with them and, yeah, and try to help them out. And, you know, maybe I might get a part-time job or something that would help me pay. Because I have to pay for my phone, I have to pay for my car insurance and whatnot. But, you know, and then that would afford me time to help them, to do the things that my dad would normally do that he may not be well enough to do. Or even if he is well enough to just, you know, do it anyway so that he doesn't have to, so that he can spend time getting better. So, yeah. I just dropped my knife again. Shit. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, I'm playing with this knife in my hands and I just keep dropping it. So, as for the channel, you know, we're going to start things up after New Year's, and we're just going to, you know, I'm probably not going to have a hell of a lot of time because I'm going to be in the process of moving. I am not going to worry about that too much because I have so many videos that are recorded and to upload, and that's going to be really easy. And once I'm settled in there, things are going to go back to a fairly regular schedule for me, and, you know, but you guys are not going to notice much things, but we're going to start seeing uploads. The stream is tomorrow. The December stream is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. That is unchanged. I'm doing that no matter what. I hope to see many of you there. So things, you know, things got worse, but there is a plan. I do have to figure out how to pay the rent for January. That's going to be a thing. But I'll figure that out somehow. You know what I mean? I got some time. And yeah, I just I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. I wanted to make this kind of a shorter one, and it's 50 minutes. That's a little shorter. I thought I would get through all that really fast, but you know. So I'll see you guys real soon with more content. The stream will be tomorrow. Yeah. hope to see you guys there. Twitch.tv/NecroVMX. And I'm just going to stop here. I'm very hungry and I need to get myself some food. So, see you guys.